Russia and Chinese hackers have breached the Foreign Office in a cyber attack that's been kept secret from the public. We're going to read this more in an exclusive from REGANELITE, guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, guys, wherever you are in the world. This is REGANELITE here with an exclusive from REGANELITE with the headline of Russian and Chinese hackers have breached the Foreign Office systems in the cyber attack to keep secrets from the public. This is shocking, to say the least, but also at the same time, it's sadly not surprising, considering how weak and insecure this government really is, and they have shown that over the last 13 years, considering the fact that Russians have been able to allegedly give a lot of money to the Conservative Party. We should not be surprised by this, or should we? After all, wouldn't MI6 have a say in this as well? Should we not have the latest security? Definitely questions need to be answered about this. The attack allows adversaries from Russia and China to access email and internal messages. So, Russia and Chinese hackers have accessed the Foreign Office internal systems in a major security breach that was kept secret from the public, the DI can reveal. The attack allows cyber attacks from Russia and China to access email, internal messages and team meetings, reveal day-to-day business of the government's department. The DI has learned that hackers from both countries compromised internet-connected servers belonging to Foreign Commonwealth and Development Offices, the FCDO, in 2021, although the breach did not give them access to classified information. So this happened a few years ago, and obviously it wasn't disclosed to the public, but the DI has obviously found out about this. Insiders at the GCHQ, the UK's Intelligence, Security and Cyber Agency, and the FCDO told the cyber hacks were enabled by a member of staff probably accidentally downloading malware hidden in an email. Russian and Chinese state-linked actors would have been able to gain access to correspondence from ambassadors or diplomats positioned abroad, which was not marked as classified, the insiders said. Experts warned this may have put diplomats based in hostile environments at risk or potentially damaged relationships with important strategic allies by revealing private communications with other nations. Yeah, if other nations are aware of your true intentions, does compromise your abilities to negotiate, compromises your reliance as well. If China and Russia obviously have this kind of information, they can use that to advantage against you. And it's clear that if this is obviously the IO excluding it, but this is the case, obviously this could be used against the UK government and the UK, and it will give both these nations an upper hand in terms of communications, trade, or even potentially blackmail. Speaking on the condition of anonymity, sources at the GCHO and the FCDO said that perpetrators from both China and Russia had accessed the systems at the same time in separate attacks. So apparently they happened at the same time, but in two different separate attacks apparently. So was this a coordinated attack from Russia and China? At one point we believe both were on there, a GCHO insider told It was very embarrassing and caused great stir in government because they didn't know whether they should admit it or not. It would have been an enormous amount of information, but none of it should have been classified. It was just daily business stuff. That's not the point, you still got hacked. The revelations come days after the government revealed a 14-month-long infiltration of the Electoral Commission IT systems by hackers who gained access to the names and addresses of thousands of registered voters. Cyber attackers were able to access internal digital operations, and the FCDO sees the daily business of the government's departments responsible for national security at a time of increased tension with Russia and China. That year, the UK had been forced to assess the threat posed by both rogue nations. China had sanctioned UK entities, including MPs critical of its human rights abuses in Xinjiang, while Russia was busy plotting its full-scale invasion of Ukraine, moving troops close to the border in preparation for attack. The government ultimately did not admit to the hacks because they didn't want the embarrassment of their systems being accessed on such a scale, the GCHQ insider said. A cybersecurity specialist who worked for the SCDO at the time also confirms the hacks took place, adding that it was certainly suboptimal. In February 2022, the government inadvertently revealed that the FCDO had been a target of serious cyber security incidents after mistakenly publishing a tenor contract requesting further support following an attack. Sources could not say with any certainty that this was linked to the hacks by Russia or China, because such instances of this were quite frequent. So they've been having quite a frequent amount of attacks, and they finally, Russia and China, have found a way to come through. And this is pretty embarrassing that we've been. I would say that would this happen under a Labour government? I don't think so. This is in part down to. I also think this is also down to the whole austerity thing. When you are cutting back on everything, which is what I believe the government have done, they will deny this. I'm just speculating, but I believe that when you cut back on so much things, you're going to expose yourself. And I would not be surprised if there was some cutting back when it comes to cybersecurity as well. You may disagree, but considering what's happened in the last 13 years with this Conservative government, would not surprise me to say the least. A third source, a former intelligence officer at the Foreign Office, said incidents like this were some form or another were a daily occurrence. The issue with the government departments is that they are culturally apathetic about security, and particularly cybersecurity. They told the eye that the general feeling is that the intelligence agency have got that covered, so we don't need to worry. Sources said they did not think the hacks were coordinated by Russia and China, but rather an optimistic approach by one actor after discovering a vulnerability that had been exposed by another. The GCHO insider says, once an adversary is on the global network, if another adversary is looking at it and sees that the Russians are in, all you have to do was piggyback on the back to get in. It is understood the initial Foreign Office hack seemed from a Finnish email, a common form of hacking where a seemingly inconspicuous email is sent to an organisation or individual embedded with harmful malware. You may have the best patch system in the world, but if a user clicks on something which enables something else and you didn't spot it, it can be a vulnerability, the GCHQ insider said, which tends to happen, and is that the next system is put in with more rigorous checks and around users with massive training cycles. This is a tension between the UK, Russia and China. During 2021, tensions were mounting between Russia and the West as Vladimir Putin built up forces in the border for preparations for his full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Russia was also implicated in cyber attacks on Poland, France and the US. Meanwhile, the government review had labelled China as the biggest state-based threat to UK's economic security. Dominic Raab, who was in charge of the department through most of 2021 before he was replaced by Liz Truss in September of that year, said the UK would stop addressing industrial-scale human rights abuse. Addressing industrial-scale human rights abuse in Beijing after China imposed sanctions on 10 UK organisations and individuals, including former leader of the Conservative Party, Ian Duncan Smith. Geopolitical relations with both countries have soured further after the launch of Russia's war in Ukraine and China's repeated intimidation of Taiwan. Both countries have also been implementing espionage on British soil since the cyber attacks on the Foreign Office in 2021. In June, I revealed that an alleged FSB agent had travelled to the UK capital using the government's Home for Ukraine scheme to bring his family with him. And in January, this paper also revealed how a Chinese tracking device was identified in a government vehicle, further heightening national security fears. Rishi Sunak had faced repeated pressure to strengthen his stance on China, not least from his predecessor, Mrs. Truss, during her tenure at Downing Street. She was seen as one of the firmest critics of China, and her criticism did not falter after leaving office. Speaking in Taiwan earlier this year, she said Mr. Sunak should deliver on language she used during the summer's Conservative Party leadership contest when he described China as the biggest long-term threat to Britain, a stance he rode back on after becoming Prime Minister. A number of foreign states, including Russia and China, have been accused of espionage campaigns by Western countries in the past, such as Solar Wind campaign in 2020, one of the biggest cyber breaches of the 21st century. Russia is alleged to have been behind the hack of which thousands of organisations were targeted, including the US government. Earlier this year, a UK cybersecurity agency urged operators of critical national infrastructure, including energy and telecommunications networks, to prevent Chinese state-sponsored hackers from hiding in their systems. Paul Chichester, the National Cybersecurity Centre Director of Operations, said it is vital that operators of critical national infrastructure take action to prevent attackers from hiding on their systems, as described in this joint adversary with our international partners. We strongly encourage providers of UK essential service to follow our guidance and help detect this malicious activity and prevent persistent compromise. The Foreign Office internal systems were hacked around the same time as the Electoral Commission, according to sources, leading to further questions around the vulnerability of an official system to cybercrime. In line with their long-standing policy on security matters, the FCDO refused requests for comment. The FCDO, the government's department for change of safeguarding the country's national interest from foreign actors, hires around 17,300 staff in diplomats and development official offices worldwide, including 218 embassies in the high commissions abroad. I'm going to take back what I said about them weakening their security, because they did state that it was a malware that basically is what got them in the first place. I think it's unfair for me to have said that at the time. The cyber attacks on Russia and China occurred in around the same time as the Electoral Commission hack, which was first identified in October 2022, around 14 months after hostile actors gained access to the names and addresses of thousands of registered voters. The independent elections watchdog revealed on Tuesday that personal details belonging to millions of voters could have been accessed by hostile actors during the breach that began in August 2021, but was not identified until October the following year. The hacks allowed the hackers to access reference copies of electoral registers containing the names or addresses of people registered to vote between 2014 and 2022. We'll just read this bit. This is a history of some of the major cyber attacks. So, this year marks the 20th anniversary of GCHQ's first response to a state-sponsored cyber attack in the UK. In June 2003, experts identified a suspicious published email containing malware designed to steal sensitive data and evade antivirus products on a government employee computer. The UK was largely unaffected by the serious hacks until late 2020. Here are some of the notable cases. So Tesco Bank in 2016, hackers exploited weaknesses in the Tesco Bank online security to withdraw 2.5 million from account holders. The bank was subsequently fined 16.4 million by the UK's financial regulator for failing to protect its customers. The NHS WannaCry attack in 2017. The NHS is one of a number of organisations across the world affected by the WannaCry ransomware crypto worm, which locked and then encrypted computer files. Then the hack disrupted more than 80 hospital trusts and 8% of GP practices, leading to 19,000 appointments being cancelled across the week, costing the NHS millions of pounds. British Airways in 2018. British Airways revealed a breach of its security system in 2018 that caused the personal data of 42,000 staff and customers to be leaked. The Information Commissioner Office fined BA £20 million for failing to protect its customers. The Travelex 2019. Currency exchange firm Travelex was also a victim of ransomware attack. Hackers locked Travelex out of its own files and halted currency transactions across the UK, demanding $5 million in exchange for the return of 5 gigabytes of stolen personal data. EasyJet 2020, 9 million EasyJet customers were affected by a cyber attack in May 2020. The majority had their emails, address and travel illegally stolen, with more than 2,000 having their credit cards accessed. And then finally, the University of Manchester in 2023, a malware attack on the University of Manchester exposed NHS data on 1.1 million patients across 200 hospitals in June this year. The trove of records were gathered by the University for Research Response. Are we doing enough to protect ourselves? As a government doing enough to protect ourselves? Are businesses doing enough to protect themselves from potential hackers? Is everyone doing more? Is everyone doing enough? Should more be done, guys? This is a really damning and embarrassing position for the UK government, that its Foreign Office has failed to protect itself. The member of staff who opened it surely needs to be questioned and held accountable for it. But at the same time, you really should think twice before opening such things. Obviously, we don't know the full details, but apparently we believe that's how Russia and China were able to get in. But this is the Foreign Office with extremely sensitive information, and they will what they gathered and how much we don't actually know for sure. And they're not going to. Obviously, the government aren't going to tell us. But obviously they will try to use that information against the UK in some way, shape or form. For private businesses, they really need to make sure that their security is always up to date as much as they possibly can to protect people and individuals as much as they can on that ground. It is very dangerous, to say the least. But what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments below. Are you surprised that the Foreign Office was breached this easily? Do you think, more should have been done? Was it a case of just one person's failure to do their job properly? Let me know down in the comments below what you guys think of this. I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Like, share and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.